So there have been worries about an economic slowdown for a while. Recession has been talked about as a possibility as well for a while, it seems. And that has been a concern for some investors. So if that is you, what can you do to help protect yourself and your money? Here with 4 steps to help to recession-proof yourself is money and business expert Derrick Kinney. Derrick, great to have you back again.
Thank you, Jason. Good to be with you.
All right, so let's do some recession proofing just in case here. Your first step, you say, is to stash more cash. I think we should start off first by saying how much money should people be putting aside here?
So it really depends on what your job is right now. If you're a teacher, you've got a steady job, you can count on it, you can actually have less cash because you know that paycheck is coming in. But let's say you're in a sales position, primarily commission-based, and you don't know when the next check is going to happen, more cash on hand is a better way to go. But on average, keeping between 3 and 6 months of committed living expenses that covers your house, your car, electricity, food, utilities, all the things you need, having that money in the bank can give you peace of mind to weather any type of recession storm that may happen.
And I love that you point that out too, Derrick, because sometimes people hear that 3 to 6 months and they think 3 to 6 months of my income. You made it very clear, 3 to 6 months of your expenses, which is much less than your income, hopefully. Let's talk about retired viewers out there because they listen to all of this stuff with a whole different filter as they're getting close to retirement or they are retired. What changes do you suggest that people in that category make?
Well, one of the things here is typically they're living off their investments. And so if they overspend or something happens, the market drops, they can't make that back. So what I would tell retired viewers is if you can maybe delay the trip a few months or spend one less a dollar amount on something you want to do just to see how the economy does, might buy you some more time, because the worst possible situation is that you spend, and the market drops and the economy drops and your values drop, and now you're in a bad situation. So just taking a step back and asking yourself, do I need this or do I want this, could be a way in the short term to help guide retirees with their money right now.
All right, so Derrick, the next thing here is, we've talked a lot about interest rates over the past couple of years. As the Fed has raised those interest rates, we've seen what happens with credit card interest rates. They've just gone through the roof. So your next step here is to pay off high interest credit card debt. I would assume that that's probably more important than it's been before.
Well, it really is. Credit card interest rates are always in a bad mood, and they always want to make sure that you are in a bad mood as well. The key is if it's over 15%, you want to make sure you're putting every available dollar toward that, because you work hard for your money. Our viewers work very, very hard. I want to make sure your money is working as hard for you as well, chipping away at that high interest credit card debt. And I like to recommend pay off the highest interest rate debt first and then work your way down regardless of the dollar amount. The key here is, especially some cards, as rates go up, those rates go up as well. So putting more money back in control means paying off those credit cards as quickly as possible.
And sometimes you got to bring in more income to get it all done. And so the last thing we're going to get to is you say that you should be considering a side gig, and you have some advice on best ways to do that.
Yeah, Jason, and let me just empathize with our viewers. It's hollow for me as a financial expert to say, hey, just live within your budget. Listen, a lot of our viewers might have exorbitant levels of credit card debt, medical debt, student debt. It is what it is. I don't want to fall on deaf ears here. So what you're going to have to do is either ask your boss for the raise by adding more value to the company, or get a side hustle or a side gig where you can control your income. Now, keep in mind, that means sacrifices to your family, maybe working evenings, the weekends. But if you set a goal of, I'm going to pay off X amount of debt and make a purpose to it, that way you know why you're doing it, that can make it a lot easier to do. Even though it's time away from the family, at least you're moving your financial future forward, and that can really pay off.
Yeah, because sometimes that progress gets a little bit harder to come by. Derrick Kinney, founder of the new site, by the way, called anyonecanbecomeamillionaire.com, which we are going to have to talk about soon, Derrick. That sounds intriguing. Thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jason.